Why educate for peace? What is the purpose of doing this? There are many purposes. We'll look at a few. Skills aim, improved communication skills. When communication happens, peace prevails. When people don't talk or there is a hindrance in communication, peace will not be sustained. So, if that's what we want our students to get, learn improved communication skills, what will they be learning? What should they be learning? What should we be teaching them? And a possible outcome is students will demonstrate effective listening. So you need to give them small exercises in effective listening. They could be live or they could be recordings that students hear, and then you stop and you throw out a question. Has the student really been actively listening, or was the student simply hearing? Hearing and listening are not the same things. All of us may be hearing, but all of us may not necessarily be listening. And so active listening is a skill that students will need to be taught if we want them to be good negotiators for peace. Possible indicators. After listening to another, students will show that they can accurately restate the speaker's ideas. So that's one way of demonstrating active listening. You listen to a 1 or 2 minute talk and then you ask the students, can you restate what you listened to? And how accurately they can do it should be the indicator for the teacher that tells them, was the student hearing, listening, or actively listening? After listening to another, students will show that they can accurately reflect the speaker's feelings. So now it's not just restating what the person said, but how do you think the person that was speaking was feeling at the time? Was the person excited, bored, frustrated, interested in what the person was talking about? Students will demonstrate an ability to ask open-ended questions. Based on what they've heard, what question do you have? And it needs to be an open-ended question. Then active listening has been happening. If you simply ask to restate something of what the speaker said, that's a close-ended question, and that does not reflect really active listening. Students will demonstrate that they can listen without redirecting the conversation to another topic. So now you take this a step further. You ask the students to get involved in a dialogue or a discussion for maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, and make sure that students stay on the topic. When a student tries to change a topic or takes the topic in another direction, the student is not actively listening. Because the student has not been actively listening, the student can stray the conversation in a different direction. Students will remain silent while listening to another when appropriate. When you're listening to someone, you need to be silent. Because if you are talking at the same time, you are not listening. What you could do if you have issues with what the person is saying, take notes. So you listen, you take notes. When the person has finished, you will have a chance to ask questions. Students will demonstrate both language that conveys respect to the speaker. So even if I don't agree with what the speaker is trying to say, I still need to show respect to the speaker. That is active listening. If I don't show respect to the speaker, I'm only looking at myself, my interests, and what I think is right or wrong. Attitudes that are needed. Self-respect. Yes, I must learn to respect myself first. Positive self-image. I must think myself worthy. My self-worth, my worth of myself, my own image should be positive. Strong self-concept. I must believe in myself. I must believe in my principles, in my values, in my morals. And then show tolerance, acceptance of others, respect for differences. This can only happen once I learn to respect myself. If I don't respect myself, it's not easy for me to respect others. It's not easy for me to tolerate others. It is not easy for me to work and get along with other people as well. Respect for rights and responsibilities of children and parents. Understanding the way you deal with children is not the way you deal with adults. And even in a home, parents have rights, children have rights. Parents have responsibilities, children have responsibilities. And making our young people understand that with rights, there are also responsibilities. Life cannot be led looking only at privileges and ignoring the duties. Bias awareness and gender equity. Both males and females should be balanced, should be equal, should be brought about into the dialogue session if a conflict arises, because a man's perspective on an issue can be very different from a woman's perspective on an issue, and it's important to hear both perspectives.